What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Aeron Nix. Welcome back to the Wrestle Plug YouTube channel. I'm here for the special Wrestling Society in Swindon review from, of course, the January 28th show that's just gone by this past weekend. Just as a quick warning as well, I know Wrestling Society is a family-friendly show. We'll try and keep it as PG as possible, but Wrestle Plug is an 18+ channel, so if you do have young people watching, please be cognizant of the fact that there's going to be swear words and maybe some terms that might not necessarily be acceptable to your young ones. So obviously I advise caution, and that's putting it mildly. So Wrestling Society, this was my first time working with Wrestling Society. Some people might recognise the big bearded mofo at ringside with the jacket on and the camera. Genuinely a real pleasure to work with so many people that I've admired for so long, obviously. So just want to get all that out of the way and say how thankful I am for the opportunity. Thank you very much to Nadia and all the gang involved with Wrestling Society for affording me yet another opportunity to showcase what I can do, and hopefully the edits and the footage will do the wrestlers justice, because this is genuinely one of my favourite shows I've done. Another promotion, another debut for me, which I'm really excited about, but it's not about me, it's about the talent, and that's why I wanted to afford them this review as well. As guys know, I'm very, very honest, so my apologies if I offend people with any of my critiques. I'm not looking to offend people. Ultimately, I'm looking to just kind of help out and grow the business, and ultimately what I've got to say is very, very positive on the whole. Show opens with Chris Bronson. Oh, man, the Stallion versus Lee Hunter. I've seen both these guys multiple times, but Chris Bronson I've never seen in this new incarnation of what he's become. You know, the boy really has grown up to be the man. I remember going to watch 4FW shows years ago, just as a fan, and Bronson was being smashed over as kind of the new white meat babyface at the time, very kind of Goldberg-esque, and me and Nick Payne, if you go back and listen years ago, when we were even more immature than we are now, if you can believe that, I was always very fascinated with the way Bronson was kind of shown to us as an audience. But it was very clear. I'm not sure if he'd only just got into the business at that point. He looked very fresh, he looked very young, but he had all the tools, you know, big, powerful, muscular guy, handsome motherfucker. And then, of course, Lee Hunter, that's a guy that I've been watching even longer. The Hunter brothers, of course, were such a staple of what was so fantastic about British independent wrestling, and especially tag team wrestling. Tag team wrestling is really good in this country, but it's still massively underrated, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's just not as many great tag teams as there is obviously singles wrestlers. Of course, that's not going to be the case anyway. But for me, it was one of those things where I just felt like, oh, this would be an interesting matchup, because I'm used to what they used to be. So Bronson versus Lee Hunter, let's just get it out of the way. Absolute banger. If Sheamus was here, he'd be like banger after banger after banger. He's not wrong either. I have no idea why he's from Northern Ireland all of a sudden, but my apologies for my terrible impressions. I do loads of good impressions, but the Irish, not one of them, I'm afraid. I thought this was absolutely awesome. Genuinely one of my favourite singles matches I've ever recorded, which is why it makes me nervous, because I just don't think, regardless of how good I feel like my footage could be, it'll never match up to being able to see this in person. Bronson has, I swear he's bigger. He's grown bigger. He looks incredible. The hair's all grown out. He just looks like a bloody man now, doesn't he? Lee Hunter, wow. You know, you'd be forgiven for thinking, let's be honest, right? The Hunter brothers were always technically supreme. And you'd be forgiven for thinking, as a singles wrestler, he may not be able to garner the same kind of energy as he did when he was in a tag team. And yet, here he is. And this was just the perfect match to open the show. It set the tone. Hard hitting is an understatement. The spine buster, the powerbomb, disgusting. I'm not going to give away all the stuff because I want you guys to genuinely watch the matches. I'm going to try and splice in some highlights during this review. But ultimately, I want people to go to the Wrestling Society YouTube channel and really check out the footage and really enjoy it. So I'm not going to give too much away, just the odd little kind of, I don't know, titillating piece for you to enjoy. A little bit of a taster of what you can expect if you head over to Wrestling Society's YouTube channel. Brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. Great match. Very hard to critique this. And everyone knows I'm very honest. There's this thing called the Aeron Nix meter where people kind of measure their opinions based on, you know, if they're incredibly honest and harsh, that's like the Aeron Nix kind of barrier. I don't know why I'm associated with, you know, very, very ruthless opinions. Because I like to think I'm a nice person overall, but maybe people buy into the gimmicks and stuff too much. I don't know. They probably do actually, judging by my inbox and the hate mail, but it is what it is. But I thought this was great, honestly. If I was rating this on the vaunted 5-star system, probably 4.5. Phenomenal. You know, yeah, I don't believe in perfection personally, not at least in my work. I always believe that you can strive for something more, but the fact this is what, 12-15 minutes, absolute instant classic. Chris Bronson is genuinely going to be a monstrous megastar. I've seen that he's appearing at places like Rev Pro and much bigger companies. You know, with all due respect to Wrestling Site and other places, you know, Rev Pro that's already got, like, you know, the big kind of financial backing, the big contract deals with places like NJPW. He's going to be fantastic, and Lee Hunter is proving every single time he goes out there he's one of the best and most reliable workers this country has ever produced. Phenomenal, amazing wrestling match. Well done, gentlemen. Just really chuffed. Second match up, I don't know why, but people call it the death spot, but not when it's got talents like this. The brilliance that is James Ellis. I've had the pleasure of seeing James Ellis before on an ACW show that I recorded earlier last year, and I was impressed with what I saw then. He was a very, very athletic guy. He was in great shape. But what really stood out to me was character. I love characters. I love storylines. I like psychology. James Ellis knows how to talk. He knows how to trash talk. He's a gobshite, and I love it. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant heat. And his opponent, was Max Blaze. Now, I haven't seen much of Max Blaze at all. His promo picture belies actually his size and his talent. His promo shot, or at least the one that I've seen on the posters and the one that I've used for my graphic design, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not flattering to him, because he's not an ugly lad by any means. He's a lovely guy and he's a handsome mofo as always. I mean, everyone on this roster is good looking, let's be honest. But, you know, it's one of those things where you look at the promo shot and you think he looks very small, he looks very slight. And he definitely looked bulkier in person. And he has great work ethic. And both guys are phenomenal talents in terms of work. If I was really being hypercritical, which I kind of have to be, because what's the point of you watching a review where I just sit here and tell you how amazing Wrestling Society is for half an hour? I thought Max Blaze could do with a lot more character work. Very quiet. James Ellis was doing a great job of getting loads of heat on him. But he wasn't really reciprocating with the face work and the fire, the babyface fire, wasn't it? He wasn't very vocalized. And if he can do that, he's got the potential to be one of the better babyfaces in the country. Obviously, I'm sure he's young, he's still got plenty of time, and that's something that can grow. But that's something that really stood out to me. I wanted to see a lot more energy and a lot more fire. And obviously, take my opinions with a pinch of salt. I'm not the best wrestler in the world. I've done some training. I've wrestled on a few shows, and I'm very lucky that I get to work on a multitude of shows doing all kinds of different things. But wrestling is one of the few things I don't get to do as often as I would like. So obviously, like I say, take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm just one fat guy in front of a camera. End of story. But I like the match. It was very, very good. I really, really like James Ellis. I feel like he's got a massive future. Some guys just jump out at you and you think TV, and this was one of them. He just looks like he belongs on TV. He's that good. I really like him. I think he's got an incredible, incredible future. The first half main event, oh blimey, women's tag team action. Nadia Sapphire, everyone's favourite. Everyone's looking forward to what I have to say about Nadia Sapphire, because I know I'm copping some heat for my opinions online after our little preview. She knows I love her dearly, but I ain't moving off my opinions. I still think Sky Smithson would win in a fight. And you know what? I don't care if all of your OnlyFans butthurt marks come after me for that. It's just an opinion. You're entitled to one, so am I. No one is questioning Nadia Sapphire's toughness, and they certainly won't be after this match. She tagged with Artemis, who I've never seen before, the Crimson Killshot. And they faced Chantel Jordan, who I haven't seen in person, but I've seen a lot of footage of, because she's just becoming a big star, and for obvious reasons. And she was tagging with Evie Madden, another person I haven't seen in person, but only seen some stuff online. And I was really, really excited to see how this match would play out. I loved it. I really did. I love women's wrestling. I'm always promoting women's wrestling on this podcast because I feel like it is just as good as the men's, if not better a lot of the time. And if you watch something like WWE, for instance, I feel like on their product, they have far more stars in the women's division than they do in the men's. I know people will probably disagree with me with that, but I look at a roster like Raw or SmackDown, I see Charlotte Flair, I see Bayley, I see Becky Lynch, I see Bianca Belair, I see Ronda Rousey, I see Liv Morgan. And then I look at the men's and I'm like, okay, there's Roman Reigns, there's Seth Rollins, Gunther. And then it's kind of like a bit of a muddied pack where you don't really feel like they're out and out megastars that could be on a marquee. I feel like all the women I've mentioned could be on a marquee, no problem. That's just my opinion, as always. So mostly positives. Evie Madden is, beautiful, obviously. I'm sure everyone's fucking noticed that. I mean, let's be honest, all four of these women are beautiful, beautiful people, inside and out, frankly. But what really stood out to me with Evie Madden was how good she was on the ring apron. Obviously, she's tagging with Chantel Jordan. Chantel Jordan is fucking incredible, like, in ring. I've never seen anything like it. And not only that, her selling as well, her facial expressions. I pay attention to little things, obviously, as a cameraman and as, a guy who's all about the small details, as you can see in my work. Chantel Jordan's, considering her age, like, she is astonishing. And this is another one where you think, NXT, WWE, easily. Like, just so good at what she does. And I feel like by saying that I'm discrediting the other three women. Absolutely not. Chantel Jordan works so beautifully with Nadia Sapphire. They have great chemistry. You could run that back a million times this year and it would never fail to impress me. One thing that I love about Nadia Sapphire is, yeah, she's very beautiful. Yes, she looks like a glamour model and all this kind of stuff. And, everyone knows that. But what they don't realise is how tough she actually is. I know there's a load of jokes and a load of, gimmicks, banter flying around about Sky Splitson and stuff like that. But nobody's questioning Nadia Sapphire's toughness. Nobody who knows better. They probably look at her and think, oh, look at this beautiful, pretty woman who has OnlyFans and does all these things. Yeah, but she's a legitimate fighter and an athlete. And the men, as the Saint said to me after the show, we never took it easy on her. We gave her a shit kicking and she just came back for more, and she was good at shoot fighting too. This is a woman who can handle her shit. All these women can. I thought Evie Madden's facial expressions on the outside were great. She showed great fire. When you're in a tag team contest, I think it's really important that if you're not actually wrestling, you're still engaging with the audience and the match itself. And Evie Madden was incredible at that. She was so good with her energy. I could always hear her at some point, come on, Chantel, when she wasn't in the ring. For me, what I loved about Artemis, which really stood out to me, was how confident she felt. Some people, when they come out, you can kind of tell that, it doesn't matter how good they are. You can tell when the nerves are there, or you didn't see that in her. She just seemed so confident, and there was a swagger about her. I liked her ring gear. It was slightly different to the kind of average ring gear. By the way, all these women presenting themselves beautifully and professionally. The way they handled themselves, the way they controlled their gimmicks. For me, I felt like there was a lack of communication between Evie Madden and Artemis. That was just my personal opinion. I felt like there was a little bit of hesitancy with some of the moves, which kind of meant that they didn't come off maybe as crisply as they would have liked. But I don't think they had a bad day at the office by any means. Like, to be honest, me personally, if I'd had a match like that, I would have been very pleased with myself. But then I know that these women probably hold themselves to a much higher standard than I do when it comes to in-ring work, which is why I'm not in there and they are. So that was probably my main criticism, was that there seemed to be not as great communication between the two when they were in the ring. But that being said, everything's just worked really well. There was good heat, good hope spots. I thought Nadia Sapphire's crowd work was incredible. I don't think she gets enough credit. I know people are going to say, oh, she's one of your best friends. Of course you're going to back her up. No, if I thought she did something shit, I'd say so. Everyone knows that. And as her friend, she would expect me to say that doubly and be honest with her. But her crowd work is incredible. She gets so much heat. By the way, my eardrums still popping a little bit. There's a lovely little moment. People probably wouldn't have noticed it. But even like, me and Artemis kind of almost caught a glance off each other at one point. And we were both like, cool, blimey. Hey, that woman can break the sound barrier. Lucky, lucky boy. That's all I have to say. Lord almighty. Yeah, no, still a little bit numb if I'm being honest. But well done, ladies. Great match. Chantel Jordan, amazing, megastar. Really, really out of, I'm not saying all the other women aren't, but she just feels like she's going to be next level. So amazing, and a real genuine honour to record women's wrestling of that quality. I was really proud of that. Quick intermission. Great setup, by the way, at Wrestling Society. Great family. Everyone's really good. You've got Andrew Robinson, big old Drew, like as the referee. He's amazing. It's hard to believe. He's just so good, and he did all the matches. It's not like he had a break either. I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to be a referee in the first place, because I've done some refereeing for a few companies, and that's difficult. It's really difficult, and nothing to Drew's level either. And he's just able to go out there, remember all the finishes, not a single mistake that I saw whatsoever. And his positioning, his timing, his speed, his counts, brilliant. Very consistent. Really, really, really good, mate. I know a lot of people are like, it's just a referee. Well, that's a shit opinion to have in wrestling, because ultimately it's the referee that keeps the match together if things go wrong. It's the referee who can communicate spots. He's the one who can keep it together, and also he's the first port of call if there's an accident or if there's a serious issue. So respect your referees. Take time to shake their hand and make yourself known to them. Same with the photographer Emma, brilliant. Obviously, we've already seen her work online. Excellent photography from an excellent professional. Holds herself to a very good standard. The girl on sound did a great job. Brilliant. Like, it's amazing how many shows I've worked where the mics don't work properly, or the sound isn't playing properly, or the lights don't work properly. Seriously, it happens a lot. And I'm not saying that mistakes don't happen, but they didn't happen at this show. Everyone was very fluid, very solid. It's a great setup. Nadia's family are amazing. The amount of work they put into help make these shows work and help them run smoothly, taking tickets on the door, and it's predominantly women again who are working, sort of doing a lot of the background stuff like they do at Rumble. And it's just another really good example of how amazing it is to see strong, powerful women working hard and also providing the backbone for what we get to do. They make our job so easy, and they deserve all the love and credit in the world for that. And obviously same to the MC as well. My apologies, I didn't capture your name. I thought the MC was great. Straight to the point, simple, effective, entertaining. Yeah, just easy stuff, I'll be sure to name check you on the next podcast, because obviously I'll be doing a lot more work with Wrestling Society, fingers crossed. So yeah, brilliant. I just wanted to mention the setup because it never gets enough mention. It never gets enough credit. Straight back from the intermission with a match that was near and dear to my heart like no other. So it's the Monarchy. It's RJ Singh, Rishi Ghosh, the Prince of Mumbai, and Nadia Sapphire facing the 4FW Tag Team Champions, Tiger Ali and Sami Zayn. The reason this match is so important to me is it's so many different angles. So, first of all, Rishi Ghosh is the person who essentially broke me into the business. He was my first trainer at Rev Pro and then helped train me at Quality. And, I'm quite happy and honest to say that me and Rishi have very different ideas on creative things in wrestling, but that's never changed my level of respect for him. And genuinely, Rishi knows this, and I've said to him several times, but I'm so thankful for him, because without his sort of energy and drive and belief in me, I wouldn't have broken into the business at all. And obviously, a lot of what you see now is my hard work, my hard graft. I pushed and chased after my own opportunities. I didn't wait for some trainees might just kind of wait, and I just decided I wanted to make my own imprint on the world. And that's not a reflection of Rishi, that's just a reflection of me and my hard graft. But it is a reflection of Rishi in the sense of he's the first person to believe me. So obviously I was very excited to be his videographer finally, to share a locker room with him again. It's hard to believe that he's apparently going to hang up the boots at the end of the year, because he's just still as good as the day he was when I first saw him about 10, 15 years ago on the FWA scene in Portsmouth. Just an astonishing talent with a level of charisma. RJ Singh, another guy I've been watching for years and years and years. Nadia Sapphire is one of my closest friends. And then we have Sami Zayn, who is one of my favourite people in wrestling. He is fantastic. He embodies everything that's great about wrestling. He's got a beautiful personality. He is easily one of the most over talents wherever he goes. At Coliseum, at their last wrestling show in London, he was in the house for that. And that was my first chance to sort of meet him in person, as opposed to just watching him as a wrestler for so many years at 4FW. And, you know, there's a reason why the fans love him, because he is just so legit, and he is one of the hardest hitting freight trains I've ever seen in wrestling, along with our boy Tiger Ali, of course, Middle Eastern representation. I know I'm not technically, you know, but I'm not Middle Eastern in the sense of I'm not from Iran or whatever. You know, I'm half Egyptian, but it's that thing of representation, different cultures, people of color. That's important to me. Diversity with the pinpoint of talent first is really important to me. And this match had huge representation from so many different cultures and backgrounds. And it proved that wrestling doesn't have to be, you know what, with all due respect, white as shit. It doesn't have to be. And also, this match had a different quality to it. I would say that from a wrestling standpoint, my favourite match was the opener. But this match had the best energy, the best crowd work, and overall was just the perfect full package for wrestling. Because wrestling is not just having a good match. And I'm not saying that obviously Bronson and Lee Hunter can't do the other stuff, because they absolutely did as well. What I'm saying is this was, for me, the perfect amalgamation of everything. And yeah, great to see gold on the line. Great to see 4FW's lineage still kicking around in wrestling society. I love the fact that everyone involved with WSUK, they've all kept the heritage and the passion of what made 4FW so spectacular alive, with the use of great homegrown talents, with the odd individual brought in from outside. It just feels like it has its own identity, and it's not just someone running a show with a load of people that they've just spent a lot of money on from somewhere else. It's still got that incredible spine, that family-orientated environment, that passionate unit of people, and it was shown across the show. And obviously, this was the 4FW throwback to end all 4FW throwbacks. This could have main evented any show. Incredible tag team cohesion. The crowd work from Rishi especially was absolutely astonishing. Tiger Ali is in astonishing shape. He always has been. He looks incredible. He's powerful. I know that he basically worked this match with somewhat of an injury. And I don't know the full extent of that. And it's none of my business, frankly. But the bottom line is the fact that he went out there and, you know, put on the show that he did and took the heat, considering that scenario, just shows how much of an incredible professional he is. And by the way, he's... man, I've seen Tiger Ali wrestle Pac, who's one of my favourite all-time wrestlers. He's wrestled the very best wrestlers in the world. And here he is, you know, still putting in the same level of effort and passion and power. And he's just such a really cool human being to be around as well. Yeah, no, it was a real joy, because when I first started watching 4FW about 6 years ago, you know, I really, really, really was very passionate about Tiger Ali. He was my favourite wrestler. And with obviously the representation kind of helping as well, because there just aren't many Arab or Persian wrestlers running around in our business whatsoever. And yeah, no, he is just as amazing outside the ring as he is in, and that's very important. That, you know, these guys kind of live up to who they are outside, and the consummate professionals. Amazing match. You're gonna love watching this match, seriously. Great energy, hard hitting. Nadia was fantastic on the outside. There's a great moment where she comes flying past the camera screaming, and it's just money, isn't it? These guys make my job so easy. All you got to do is point and shoot and not fucking move the camera too much, and it's easy. It really is. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Won't spoil the result for you. Absolutely spectacular. Great match. Please go and watch it on the Wrestling Society YouTube channel. The penultimate match is the entertainment portion of the evening, definitely, although frankly that tag team match was as entertaining as it could get. Sunset Skip, my first chance to see him live, versus everyone's old pal, Gilligan Gordon. This was all about fun, charismatic enjoyment, and they delivered that, and I love them for it. You know what? Full disclosure, you're not going to get a 5-star wrestling match out of these. These guys aren't technical classics. These are hard-hitting, meaty men slapping meaty hoss meat all around the ring. And I was very excited because, as you know, I love meaty hosses. Plenty of meaty hosses, by the way. Bronson, that's a hoss. Sami Zayn, Tiger Ali. And now we've got these two big old whoppers. These meaty gammon joints slapping around. Fantastic. Getting a little bit hot under the collar here. Getting all excited with all this hoss meat. Brilliant. Very entertaining. One thing that I really loved was at the beginning of the match. And obviously, Sunset Skip, you know, he gets the referee, the MC, excuse me, to announce that he's wrestled on every single continent in one day. And Gilligan Gordon just goes, "Excuse me, I've wrestled in continent too." And he's like, "No, that means you're full of," you know. I don't know why I'm censoring it because I've already sworn, but it was just very funny. It's just really funny and very entertaining, and reminded you that wrestling is variety, wrestling is cabaret, wrestling is entertainment, it's pantomime, it's physical combat, it's violent, but it's also funny. You know, it can juxtaposition so many different things, and these guys do that so beautifully. They don't need to go out there and do 100 different flips to be over and popular with the crowd. And by the way, Gilligan Gordon, you know, he's always been so popular. You know, the van down by the river stuff, it never fails to amuse me and pop me, and I loved it. And I think Lomax was in attendance as well. What a unit, his former tag team partner. It was great to see him, you know, in the house watching on and enjoying the show. It was brilliant because those two guys were so cool. You know, they were really important to me and my growth as a wrestler, because they prove that, do you know what, you don't have to have a brimming six-pack. You know, good for you if you do, obviously, but you don't have to always be what everyone thinks is the perfect body, and that to be a great wrestler, to be a great entertainer. And Sunset Skip embodies that more so than anyone. Has so much colour, the great retro throwback, the synth wave, the retro wave stuff. It just works, and it's fun and it's entertaining. I can see why Rudy Roo loses his balls every time he talks about Sunset Skip, because the guy's amazing and he's got such a lovely, kind energy about him as well. Someone like me, people don't realise that I'm extremely anxious at shows. You know, I always get imposter syndrome. I'm very nervous. I always feel like I don't belong. I feel like I have to work twice as hard to prove that I belong, because people just see me as the gobshite from Wrestle Plug. But I'm also very nervous and very kind of shy at shows, and people like Sunset Skip make that condition so easy to forget, because they're just so easy to talk to and get along with. They're a real joy to be in any locker room, and I honestly feel like if people want somebody who can truly bring fun and energy and colour and laughter to a locker room, look no further than Sunset Skip. And Gilligan Gordon played the perfect heel in this role. Love his screams are hysterical. It was great fun. You'll enjoy this. It was really entertaining to watch. You'll enjoy every match, but you'll enjoy this because it's just fun. The main event for the Wrestling Society Heavyweight Championship. Of course, it's the greatest wrestler walking this out today. It was funny because, like, it's weird. I've never met Saint in person. I have hyped him up on his podcast for years and years and years. But meeting him in person, he is tenfold as cool as advertised. He is the cornerstone of professional wrestling. And the fact that he got to wrestle one of the all-time greats, in my opinion, man. Being in the same room as James Mason is like, I imagine that's how people felt when they were queuing up to meet royalty, or when the Queen would kind of come along at the variety performance and shake everyone's hand. Because he is just such a big deal. And what's amazing about him is he's just so humble and chill, you know, and he's the professional. And he, you know, him and his ring crew did an incredible setup, by the way. I love a low set ring because it means that I can get easier footage and it's higher, and I just love it. I do. Not sure what the wrestlers think about that, but I love this match. James Mason versus the Saint. This was all about psychology. Wasn't the best wrestling match. I felt like there was every now and then there was like a lull in chemistry. Nothing massively noticeable, but enough to kind of say, like, oh, you know, you could tell these guys hadn't worked before, which was funny because I would have thought they would have worked so many times together. You know, between them, I think they've got 50 years in the business, maybe more. And they've both aged beautifully, has to be said. And this kind of wrestling doesn't age at all. Entertaining, technical, good psychology, good storytelling. This felt like a main event. You know, and James Mason comes out and he's just, I love James Mason, a throwback and the energy and the we want mores and stuff. And I work at Rumble with Sid Manelli, who I think is absolutely amazing. One of the best blue eyes in the business. And you can just see how much James Mason's identity has trickled down into a lot of these younger guys who are working the camps, who are working on so many of these different shows. Because Sid Manelli shows so many similar traits. He almost feels like he could be James Mason's son, because the similarities are uncanny. And I've met a lot of guys in this business, and you can tell that guys like James Mason, guys like Doug Williams, guys like the Saint, They are impacting the identity of how wrestlers work now. And there's nothing wrong with learning from the very best. Doesn't matter if they're old school, because old school is still cool as shit. And this match proved that. You know, the classic heel, the classic babyface, the blue eye, and, you know, it delivered. Great match. So, is the Saint undefeated? Only one way to find that out, isn't there, really? Go to the Wrestling Society YouTube channel. Stop watching me waffle on. Go to Wrestling Society's YouTube channel. Go to their social media. Have a look. Check it out. Give the content the time it deserves. Not for me, but for the guys and the girls who work there. And for all the staff who work their fucking arse off to make this company genuinely one of the best companies I work for. And by the way, I work for loads of incredible companies that I have a great time with. I've also worked for a couple that are a pile of shit. You know, it is what it is. Not everything's perfect. But the bottom line is, Wrestling Society is the absolute pinnacle of professionalism and also happiness. And it's very difficult to get that balance. So, an incredible job all round, an amazing roster. I honestly cannot wait to be on another show. Have a great time, obviously. This Saturday, they're in Portishead. So you need to check that out, because that's going to be an absolute banger. February the 4th. Check it out. Tickets are still available. There's a QR code on the screen, which I've stuck on this video so that you can scan that and buy tickets. You really want to head along to that, because there's going to be some really spectacular matches in the making there. Check out Wrestling Society's Facebook page and all their social media, which is also available in the descriptions below. But most importantly, just get on this bandwagon, because you're going to regret it if you don't, because sooner or later everyone's going to be talking about Wrestling Society. I can guarantee you that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Aeron Nix. Thank you very much for watching the Wrestle Plug. If you like something a little bit more graphic and a little bit more extreme, good news for you, because we have an entire backlog of crazy watch-alongs where we watch some of the best, the worst, and most indifferent wrestling in professional wrestling. And also we have an incredible backlog of amazing interviews. We've got more interviews coming up, and I would absolutely love to have every single member of the Wrestling Society roster, whether they're making one appearance or they're making their 50th appearance, it doesn't matter. The 4FW throwbacks, the new stars. Come on a Wrestle Plug, hype your brand. It would be an absolute pleasure to talk to you. You're all amazing people. Thank you for making me feel welcome. And I will catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.